Hey, welcome back. It's Madeline from Madelyn Guitar. Here we are with week 3 of our beginner series designed to help you get started on the instrument. So for this week, we're going to expand on the chromatic scale warm-up, and we're going to add in a new pattern today, a new scale called a minor pentatonic scale, and also talk more about chord changes and some strumming. So a lot to do today. Let's get started. Okay, so we're ready to get started. We're going to start by taking our chromatic scale, which is the 4-finger warm-up exercise, and we're going to do a little more with alternate picking, which is what we talked about in the week 2 video, where you're doing the alternating down and up strokes with the right hand. So for this part of the exercise, which again is ever evolving, this is basically the main exercise that guitar players will practice, the form we're going to do today, which is taking our 4 fingers. Now, instead of playing each note twice like we did in week 2, we're going to just do each note one time, but again with strict alternating between the down and up stroke for the right hand. So what's going to happen is you're going to have the first finger with a down stroke, the second finger with an up stroke, the third finger with a down, and the pinky with an upstroke. So it's going to feel more like you're walking, because last time we were doing the doubles. This time we're going to have it where we're walking one time per note, alternating down and up. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to have a down, then up, down, then up. Then you go to the A string, the next string down, same thing. Down, up, down, up. And you just keep that going. Make sure you have your right hand with the anchor, some kind of finger resting on the body of the guitar. Very important. Okay, you get to the top, you work your way backwards. And the whole purpose of that is to make it so that you're going to feel like you're doing one note with a downstroke, another note with an upstroke. And that's exactly how it feels, almost like you're walking, like you're going left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. We're walking the pattern. And that's the goal, is to have this kind of this connected phrasing to it, where it feels like you're not pausing, where you're in control of your down and your upstrokes. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time, but this is where you really develop a lot of coordination and a lot of speed. So if you get sick of playing that scale on the first fret, now you have like the full version of the pattern. You can move that around. You could take, say, for example, the 3rd fret, which is usually like the first dot on most guitars, and you could play the same 4 fingers, but anchoring off of the 3rd fret every time you move to a new string. So you'd have this sort of thing. First finger on the 3rd fret, walk up your 4 frets, 4 fingers. Then when we get to the 6th fret, after we play that note, we go back to the 3rd fret on next string down. So same exact pattern. Again, we get that walking feeling. And you go backwards. And you can continue on any dot that you want. So you can really go crazy with this exercise. I mean, we call it a warm-up, but it really is one of the best ways to build that finger dependence and coordination, which leads to more speed. And just gets you more comfortable with playing scales. So that's the full version that we're going to use in this whole video series. There's other variations. There's tons of them. But for what we're doing for your first 10 weeks getting going, that is plenty. That's going to develop your alternate picking. And a good rule of thumb to follow is if you're playing any kind of single notes, say a scale or a riff, you want to alternate pick. And that's what leads us to your first scale, yay, which is something called a minor pentatonic scale. And I'm going to show this based on the 5th fret. Okay, so this pattern, we're going to alternate pick it. It's a scale that has 2 notes per string, so it's perfect because you can practice alternate picking, doing a downstroke and an upstroke on the 2 notes for each string. And it's kind of the same feeling in a way as this 4-finger exercise, just we're going to be crossing strings much more quickly because there's only 2 notes instead of 4 notes. So here's what it looks like. We're going to take our first finger and we're going to place it on the 5th fret on this low E string. This note is called A, which we'll worry about that later. But the 5th fret here is going to be our main root or kind of our tonal center. We're going to be coming back to this 5th fret a lot. And what happens is the first finger will be playing the 5th fret on every single string all the way down as we climb through the scale. So it's a good reference point of where you need to go back to. And I like it because it's kind of in the middle section of the neck and it's right on the dot. So you can use that dot to help you. The pattern is going to look like this. You start with the first finger on that 5th fret. You give that a downstroke. Now we're going to go to basically the pinky up on the 8th fret, which is the same distance. If I were to walk that 4-finger chromatic exercise or warm-up, that's exactly where the pinky would go in that pattern. It's a little, they call it a position. It's a 4-fret box. So in this position, the first finger's on the 5th fret and the pinky's on the 8th fret. So you have 5 to 8, first finger to pinky. And it's going to be, again, the right hand, downstroke on the 5, upstroke on the 8. So down on the first finger, up on the pinky. The next string, again, 2 notes. We go to the 5th fret again, first finger, downstroke. And then the 7th fret will be the 3rd finger. Again, the same thing as if I were to play my 4-finger exercise. That's exactly where the 3rd finger would land. So the 5th fret to the 7th fret is first finger, 3rd finger. It's the same thing on the D string. 5th fret, first finger, 7th fret, 3rd finger. So what we have so far is 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7. And again, the right hand is going downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke. The 3rd string, the G, is the same thing, 5th fret to 7th fret. Same thing, first to 3rd finger. Then we have on the B string, we have the first finger to the pinky again, which is the 5th fret to the 8th fret. Okay, and then the high E string is that same thing, 5th fret to the 8th fret. So it's really just 2 shapes. It's either going to be first finger to pinky, 5th fret to 8th fret, or first finger to 3rd finger, 5th fret to 7th fret. So here's the whole scale again. So 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. Now we want to go backwards, which is going to flip the picking. So going up or ascending, we were doing a downstroke with the first finger. Now we're going to do a downstroke on the pinky. So it's down, and then up on the first finger, down, up, down on the 3rd, up, down on the 3rd, up, down on the 3rd, up, down on the pinky, up. And when you go back and do it again, now it cycles back to the downstroke. Down to 5, up. So you can see it's just a cycle that just goes right through. That is your first scale. It's called a minor pentatonic. It's literally a 5-note minor scale. And there's a lot we're going to do with this pattern. The idea here is to give you a shape to reinforce more alternate picking, which I know is sort of new still, but this allows you to cross through the strings quicker. So that's going to build some more speed, And this will be something we're going to do what's called improvisation with, where you get to make up melodies and phrases and ideas using the scale pattern. Right now, it's still going to be just an exercise, so you want to just play on that 5th fret. We're going to talk a lot more about that in the week 4 video. It's going to be a lot of minor pentatonic in week 4. So at this point, you have a lot of new stuff with the left hand. You've got much more movement in the scale, the chromatic scale with with both hands technically. You have this minor pentatonic scale. Now, what I want to talk about for the right hand for the chord work is some strumming. So I don't want to do any new chords this week. I want to just work on some strumming. We've been looking at a few different chord patterns, and now it's time to start making some more of a musical phrase, or making something sound more musical, period. So when you're playing, it won't sound so dull, like just strum, like, yay, that's great and everything, but I want it to sound cool. So we're going to focus on the E minor chord and the G major. So the E minor, again, was 2 fingers, just like that. Okay? And then a G major was like this. Remember, they shared that first finger. Okay? So our strumming is going to be basically taking what we've been building off of, and I don't want to get too crazy into the music theory. I want to really focus mainly on the ear here, but we've been doing what are called quarter notes, which is just straight 4 downstrokes. You know, if I were to count 4 and do 4 downstrokes, they would be 4 quarter notes. A quarter note is 1 beat. It's when you are tapping your foot to a song, or bobbing your head, or shaking your butt. It's what you're feeling is the pulse of the whatever the musical phrase that's going on, whether it's a song or whatnot. So right now we're doing this. We're doing down, 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 down. You know, 4 downstrokes. So one thing to remember, again, when we're strumming, is I still have my finger anchored. That's still making contact with the body of the guitar. Very important. So the strum I want to do is we're going to do a downstroke, which is going to be our quarter note, down. And then we're going to do another downstroke, another quarter note. And then 2 what are called 8th notes, which will be a down and up. And they're going to be twice as fast as the quarter note. So, and we're going to end with another downstroke quarter. So it's going to be quarter, quarter, 8th, 8th, quarter. And again, we'll work more about the counting as we get going. This is just trying to use your ear, trying to make it sound like what you're hearing. So this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Now, when you do the upstroke, you want to keep the same angle that your pick is at. When you go down, you're just coming right back up. You don't have to reinvent, like, you know, this crazy, wild paint the fence sort of thing. You're just going down and right up. So if you're arcing down, you're going to arc your way right back where you were. And that's why this planting the finger is so important. Let that do the work for you. So that's going to prevent you from having to squeeze the pick. If you feel like you're doing an upstroke and you're getting caught, like, that means you're either squeezing too hard or your angle is different than when you're doing it down. So make sure you trust that anchor of the finger on the right hand, or multiple fingers, depending on what is comfy for you. Trust that, because that's going to help you support the right hand and get those upstrokes in there. So once again, you're going to have down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Now, you're going to do that 2 times, and then switch to the G chord and do the same thing twice. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Then back to E minor. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. You switch. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Okay, that's the exercise. Trying to keep the timing in the left and the right hand. So what gets complicated is trying to strum without pausing. And that's what you want to work on, is you want to work on getting this pattern where you're not pausing on the chord switch. And even if you mess up the initial downstroke chord switch, you have time to fix it. You have 2 rounds of that strum pattern to try to come back on, bring the train back on the tracks. So that's the goal with that. And it's tricky to do that. Most people will do this. You'll sound like this. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And it'll be a little switch. So you want to land that first initial downstroke when you switch the chord. That's so important. And again, it'll take a little bit of time, but don't feel bad if you end up having to pause. But it's something that we'll be working on quite a bit. And as you get going on more of these videos, more of these weeks, you'll have more going on with the chords. And especially as you practice the scales, the scale work will help immensely with your chord work. So if you are getting frustrated and you can't move your fingers at the same time, or there's so much pausing going on, practice more with your scales. That's going to build your finger independence. And a lot of teachers won't tell you that. They'll just say, work more on your chords, which is great advice. But the whole purpose here, and my influence or my experience and my little tricks is, if I had a few hours a day to practice chords, yeah, but I only have 15 minutes. I only have a half hour. I have 10 minutes. What do I do? How do I get chords faster with not having hours to play a day? Well, you need to work on finger exercises and the scale work. That will make you faster and build up more coordination and finger independence, and that is what it's all about. I'm going to rant for a second because this is a very passionate stance of mine. A lot of new guitar players will go into lessons at a store or with an instructor, and the first thing they get introduced to is a method book, Hal Leonard Book 1 or Mel Bay. And it's great to read music. I can read music, and I recommend that everyone eventually learns how to read music. But when you're starting out, you need to work on your technique. The last thing you want to do is try to figure out how to read music on a staff, find the note on the guitar, and then play the note. You're just worried about playing the note, much less knowing what it's called and where it's on the staff. So technique is always the most important thing to me at first. And I've been doing this for a very long time. And I firmly believe that. Like I said, I will definitely show people how to read music. But it's so important to work on your technique at first. That is what's going to be the most efficient way to work on whatever time you have to practice. That's what it comes down to. You have to say, how can I get better with whatever time frame I can allocate per day to playing guitar? And that's what I'm doing with this whole series. This is designed, again, for people that don't have a lot of time. So work your scales. You work your scales, your chords will get better. They'll get faster. Okay? Rant over. Okay, anyways. So just to review, you're going to take the 4-finger exercise. You're going to have the alternate picking now with only playing each note one time. Down, up, and kind of trying to walk through the strings. You have the minor pentatonic scale on the 5th fret, which was this. Again, working the alternate picking. And now we have our strum pattern, which we were doing between the E minor and the G, which was the quarter, quarter, eighth quarter. Down, 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 up, down. Okay, so that's a lot to work on. And like I said, you just need to work mostly on the finger exercises, do a little bit with the chord work. The chord work and the strumming is designed to break up the monotony of playing a bunch of single note exercises. Unless you just can put a Netflix show on and sit there and just run your chromatic scale, that will do wonders for you. I promise you. Don't even plug the guitar in if you have an electric. Just put a show on, watch Batman, and play play your scales. Okay. Anyways, thanks for joining me. This was week 3. Looking forward to week 4, which will be some more fun stuff. So, again, this is Madelyn from Madelyn Guitar, and we'll see you soon. Bye.